Greetings, mighty companions. Anna Kujawa here, and we are doing A Course in Miracles. But on tonight, as we always do on Wednesdays, we are doing the complete and annotated edition of A Course in Miracles, which looks like this. You might notice it is not the traditional blue covered edition. It is this, which is the latest and most original edition of A Course in Miracles. And in tonight's class, you will see some of the differences between the edited version of A Course in Miracles, which is the blue covered edition and the black covered edition, and this edition of A Course in Miracles. The first whole paragraph of this section tonight was original within the dictation that Helen Schuckman received, but was edited out of the next two editions of A Course in Miracles. And you are going to see one of those paragraphs, and you're going to be like, oh, well, no wonder they edited that out. So that's why I am teaching this particular edition, is because there was so much of the original dictation that was edited out of the next two editions that I really wanted to explore and learn the original dictation that was left out. And tonight we're going to see some of what was left out, and we're also going to be like, oh, I can see why they took that out. But we're going to go deeply into it, because I do not believe that whatever came through Helen Schuckman was an accident. And so even though it may be hard to understand, even though I may not understand fully what it's saying, I think it has a lot of value. And so that's why I'm doing this class. And so good evening. Hello to everyone who is watching. Carrie, lovely to see you and share this time with you, and Patrick and Greg and Tony, and thank you, Tony. Praise God for you too. So are you ready for some stuff that's deep and beautiful and holy that you might not understand? Are you ready for a miracle that even though you may not understand it, it can bring to you the answers and the healing and the abundance that you have been asking for and that you are entitled to as a child of God? Are you ready? Do you want it? Okay, so I ask you that before we begin, because it begins with a paragraph that seems a little difficult to understand, even for me, who has been studying this material for a long time. So let's do it. Together we can do it. And remember, the thing that I also need to remember this evening is that we don't have to understand it to allow it to work for us, to produce miracles in our lives. I don't understand it completely. I really don't. I am not doing this because I understand A Course in Miracles or because I have applied it perfectly in my life. That's not why I teach A Course in Miracles. I teach A Course in Miracles because I see the results that happen in my life that really are miraculous and that have come into my life even though I don't understand A Course in Miracles perfectly and I don't practice A Course in Miracles perfectly. And still my life is transformed every day, week by week, month by month, year by year, transformed to the point where I'm living a life I never dreamed possible for myself. And that's why I keep studying it, and that's why I keep teaching it. So keep that in mind tonight and every class. If you don't understand what it's saying, then join the club. You're doing great. You don't have to. I don't understand it or apply it perfectly myself. I just know it works, and it works without my understanding. And so that's why I keep doing it. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to hear what it says, and we're going to try to do what it says, even though we might not understand what it says. It's okay. All right. So welcome and hello, Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Quana. Hi, Cindy. Hi, and Tony. Okay. So Here we go. So we are in chapter 4, section 6, and this section is called This Need Not Be. And remember, I told you in the title of this section, the title is the A Course in Miracles Emotional First Aid Kit, or something like that. So the whole section is about how to respond to emotional upsets like depression and guilt and shame and fear and anxiety, all those things that we all experience, some more than others, how to respond to those emotional upsets, which so often feel like such a crisis, such an emergency. When you're going through something, some kind of emotional pain or turmoil, it feels like an emergency. It feels like a crisis. And this section talks about when you feel depression, when you feel anxiety, when you feel guilt, when you feel fear, when you feel panic, all those things that we all experience, what they mean, what is going on, and how to respond to them, how to interpret them in such a way that miracles of healing result. And so that's why I call this, and that's why this has always been for me, this section, as long as I've been studying A Course in Miracles, I've always called this section the Course in Miracles Emergency Break in Case of Emotional Emergency Kit. So that's what this is for me. So in the previous weeks, we talked about when you feel guilt. We talked about when you feel anxiety, when you feel depression, when you feel despair, things like that. So now we are, and if you want to hear about what A Course in Miracles says about those things and how to respond to them in a miraculous healing way, then go check out those other sections. Now, we're going to start with paragraph 9, which is where we left off in our last session. And hello, Lori and Renu and Maria and Deborah. I'm thrilled to see you all here in our healing circle. This is our Course in Miracles healing circle that we always create whenever we come together to hear these ideas. These are healing ideas. The Course in Miracles is a healing curriculum. Its whole purpose is for the healing of our minds. The healing of our minds with the awareness that our life and our world is coming from our minds. And if our minds are sick, then our life and our world and our body is going to be sick. And of course, Miracles wants to help us to heal our minds, that our bodies and our lives and our world may also be healed. It means released from fear. All right, so don't forget, if you have questions or comments, please ask your questions. If you're hearing what I'm saying, and you're like, well, I don't understand how to apply that to what I'm going through. Like, this doesn't apply to me. Feel free to ask a question. How does this apply to my boss? How does it apply to my body? How does it apply to my partner? I love your questions. I really do. And I love your feedback, because this is a co-creation. This is a co-creation. We are co-creating this experience that we are having. It's not something I'm doing to you or for you or vice versa. We are co-creating it. What you give to it is what you get from it. Me too. So, so logistical issue. I need a iPhone plug right here that I didn't get. Okay. All right. So, so we are in chapter 4, section 6, and we are in paragraph 9. We're on This Need Not Be, and here we go, paragraph 9. It says, first I just want to tell you something before we get on. This whole paragraph, the entire paragraph of the whole paragraph 9 was left out, was edited out, okay? So when we get to paragraph 10, it goes back into what you will find in the first 2 edited editions of A Course in Miracles. This whole paragraph was edited out. As I share it, you may be like, yeah, I get why that was edited out. I do not know what that is saying. So just know that this whole paragraph 9 was edited out. So to me, that piques my interest. Like, why? Okay, what was it they left out and why? So thank you. So thank you, Renu, for putting that in. So now it goes like this. Those folks with a habit of disengagement often do not make consistent efforts to change their minds except through applying their old habit pattern to these new ideas. So what? Okay, what? It says, it's saying that a lot of us have a habit have a problem-solving approach to life called disengagement. Later, it also refers to this problem-solving habit of disengagement as disinterest. So it's saying that a lot of us have tried to solve our problems through disengagement. Okay, now what does that mean? Well, a lot of us have tried to solve our problems, our stress, our issues with disengagement. And disengagement takes a lot of forms. One of the forms of disengagement goes like something like this. What is your problem? This is not my problem. This is your problem. Why are you the way you are? Or disengagement like disinterest, like I don't need this. I don't need this at all. I don't need this. This doesn't have anything to do with me. I don't need this. Goodbye. Okay. Do you recognize that habit of the problem-solving approach called disengagement? So it's saying that those who have a habit of disengagement, like I have got a problem, I'm upset, and the way I'm going to solve it is I'm going to disengage. I don't know what your problem is. I don't need this. I don't care. I don't care. That's my favorite one. I don't care. I don't need this. I don't know what your problem is, but this has nothing to do with me. Disengagement, okay? And so he's calling that what? A habit, a problem-solving habit, as if it's like, you know, you heard about people like they got a bad habit, okay? We've had a bad habit. A Course in Miracles calls this bad habit a habit of disengagement. That's their problem. I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know what your problem is. I don't even care. This has nothing to do with me. Click, I'm gonna ghost you. Okay, that's called a habit of disengagement. Now, it's saying that those with a habit of disengagement as a problem-solving approach, these folks, us, they do not make consistent efforts to change their minds except through applying their old habit pattern of disengagement and disinterest to these new ideas. Wow. So what it's saying here is that those who have a problem-solving habit of disengagement or disinterest, then they take that habit and they apply it to these new ideas in A Course in Miracles. So what are you talking about? What it's saying here is that whatever your old habits are of problem solving, whatever they are, whether it's denial or disengagement or projection, you know, when you got an issue and you're upset, what do? What's your problem-solving approach? Is it like, oh, I wonder what my thoughts are that have produced this, and I wonder what Holy Spirit would say about this, and oh, Holy Spirit, I ask for the correction of my mistaken thoughts for this, because obviously that is what is producing this. Okay, is that your habit of problem-solving? Okay, no. And of course, Miracles says, whatever your habit of problem-solving was before you came into the Course, you are going to still have a temptation to use those problem-solving habits on the Course in Miracles ideas. Wow. So, and that's very interesting. Now, why do you suppose that whoever did the editing here took that out? Good question. So, it goes something like this. Okay, so I'm just going to ask you this. What was your habit, your problem-solving habit before you came to the Course? Was it denial, disengagement, disinterest? Which one was it? Whatever it was, you are going to not, when you get to the Course, you don't magically let go of those old habits, of those old mind habits. You just apply them to A Course in Miracles. For instance, if you had a problem-solving habit called disengagement or disinterest or denial, when you get to the Course and you hear A Course in Miracles ideas, then the way that it plays out is when you're in a relationship and you're having a problem, you're having an issue, what do? You go, well, I don't care. I don't care. My thoughts don't mean anything anyway. Or disinterest. Well, I don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anyway. It doesn't matter anyway. I don't care. Or disengagement. Or denial. This doesn't have anything to do with me. Or just denial. Okay. Or projection. This is all about you. Why don't you accept the ideas of A Course in Miracles? Why don't you apply the ideas in the Course in Miracles better? Why don't you know the truth? Whatever it was that you were using as your problem-solving habit, you're still going to be using that habit, that problem-solving habit, even with A Course in Miracles ideas, okay? So, and that's very good to know. Okay, does anybody recognize that? Just because you are now a Course in Miracles student doesn't mean that you are going to be dropping those old habits of projection. Why don't you take responsibility for your problems? Why don't you take responsibility or denial? This is your issue. That has nothing to do with me. Why don't you apply the Course better? Why are you so in denial? This is you. Okay, this is what happens even when we are Course in Miracles students. We don't magically let go of or forgive or release our old, what is it called? Our efforts to change our minds through applying our old habit patterns to these new Course in Miracles ideas. Wow. So whatever the way it was that you used to solve your problems in an inappropriate ego kind of projection way, you're still going to do that at first with A Course in Miracles ideas. So now you're going to be using denial around A Course in Miracles ideas. You're going to be using projection with A Course in Miracles ideas. You'll be using disengagement from A Course in Miracles ideas. All of those things. So good to know. So forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Now, all right, welcome to Alita and Maya and Sammy. Thank you for joining us, and hi, Irene. Okay, so then it says something very interesting. It says, even though you are still trying to change your mind through applying your old habit pattern to these new ideas, even still. So even though you're a new Course in Miracles student, you're still using denial and projection and disengagement and all those old habit patterns of problem solving. Even though you're using those with a Course in Miracles, it's okay. It says, because even then, however, you can learn that you can learn that your mind gains control over itself when you direct your mind genuinely toward perceiving someone else truly. So no matter what problem-solving habit that you have been using before A Course in Miracles, whether it's projection or denial or disengagement or disinterest or any number of those defense mechanisms you have used to solve your problems, it says you can still, even though even though you're applying it to A Course in Miracles, even still, you can learn that you can gain control over your own mind. Okay, great. You can gain control over your own mind. Great. Not with the old defense mechanisms that you've been using for a long time. They haven't really worked. But you can gain control over your own mind. How? By directing your mind genuinely toward perceiving someone else truly. So let's say that you have been defending yourself and protecting yourself through, let's say, projection. Okay, when something would come up in your life, projection. Why are they doing that? If they were different, I'd be happy. Why aren't they applying A Course in Miracles better? What's wrong with them? Let's say you are using projection to protect yourself. Okay, then it says that when you use projection and denial to protect yourself, you will lose control over your own mind. When you say someone else is responsible for your peace and your happiness and your health and your wellness and your abundance, guess what you are saying? You are implying and teaching and demonstrating that you have lost control over your own mind, and now and that situation has control over your mind and your life and your body. Is that really what you want to learn? Is that really what you want to teach? Do you want to teach that everything but you has control over your mind and your body and your life? Is that really what you want to teach? That you've lost control over your mind and you've lost control over your body and your life? And the Course in Miracles is saying that even if you've been using projection and denial as a way to make yourself feel safe, you still can use that old defense mechanism called projection for your own good. Awesome. How do you do that? You can regain control of your mind and your life and your body by what? By perceiving someone else truly. Okay? So you lost control over your mind and your body and life by saying, if they were different, I'd be happy. If this were different, I'd be happy. If they would apply the Course in Miracles better, I would be happy. If they knew the Course in Miracles, I'd be happy. The Course in Miracles says, yeah, well, that's you having lost control of your own. That's you saying, I have no control over my mind. I have no control over my body. I have no control over my life because it's all on them. If they applied the Course better, if they knew the truth, if they were different, I would be happy. you may as well have said, I've lost total control of my own mind and body. It's really saying I've relinquished control over my own mind and my own body and my own life. As long as you are saying, if they were different, if they applied the truth, if they knew the truth, I would be happy. You're saying, I've lost control, and now they have control. And so, oh well, I'm totally out of control. Now, it says, so A Course in Miracles is teaching you that it says that you can learn that the mind gains control over itself. You, through A Course in Miracles, can learn that you have control over your own mind. Whoa. You have control of your own mind and body and life, and you gain it back. You accept back that control over your own mind and life and body when what? When you genuinely direct your mind to perceiving someone else truly. So let's say that you've been using disengagement and denial and projection as a mental defense, as a way to deal with your problems. Okay, fine. Then the way back to control is to go, okay, mind, I'm going to direct you to perceive them correctly. So it used to be that my habit of problem solving was, if they were different, I'd be happy, okay? And this is saying, okay, take that defense, that faulty defense mechanism, and now go, if I could see them correctly, then I can experience peace and abundance and healing myself. When you say, if I can see them correctly, and I direct my mind, like, mind, I want you to learn how to see them correctly. If you can direct your mind genuinely to learning how to see them correctly, then you will gain control back over your mind, your life, and your body. Would you like to have that sense of control over your mind, your life, and your body again, so that you don't feel like a helpless, hopeless victim anymore? I would. Okay. It does not feel good to feel like you are at the mercy of somebody else or other circumstances or whatever. It does not feel good to feel at the mercy of things outside of yourself for your well-being, for your abundance, for your health and your love and your happiness. It don't feel good. So if you have used a defense mechanism of projection and denial for handling your problems and your stress, then begin to reverse it by going, mind, I'm going to direct you to how to see them correctly, how to see them truly. Okay. If your mind has been using projection as a way to protect itself, now you're going to tell your mind, okay, mind, how can we see that person truly? Meaning, how can we see that person guiltless? And mind, I want you to learn how to see that person guiltless and not as a body. Mind, I'm going to direct you to learn how to see that person as the same as you, not different, and guiltless and not their body. And when you give your mind, when you direct your mind toward that goal, guess what? You will learn how to see others in that way. So where you used to be projecting or in denial, you will be learning how to see others truly. All right. Okay. Now, isn't that interesting that this paragraph so far was left out? Right, and you can see why. Okay, you can see why they're like, I don't know what that's saying. Bloop, take it out. All right. And then Irene says, but it doesn't stop me from reading it and listening to YouTube and live streams. Exactly. Hello, Lee. Good to see you. And Carly, good to see you. And Deborah Quinman. I'm not sure. Forgive me for butchering that. Okay. All right. Now, so the goal, okay. So what we want to do here is we want to learn that our mind gains control over itself, okay? I want to learn that my mind has control over itself, okay? I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of this situation. I'm not a victim of whatever relationship issues that I may be having or whatever physical conditions that I am experiencing. I want to learn that my mind can gain control over itself by directing itself genuinely towards seeing someone else correctly. So I won't feel like a victim. I won't feel helpless. I won't feel powerless. I won't feel hopeless when I direct my mind to see others truly, okay? Meaning as innocent, as not their bodies, as guiltless, as they don't know what they're doing. They're innocent because they do not know what they're doing. Just like me, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm innocent because I don't know what I'm doing, and forgive them, for they know not what they do. Just like me, forgive me, I don't know what I'm doing because I don't know the truth about myself. And that is, when you see other people like that, you are seeing them correctly. When you see other people correctly, guess what? You gain control back over your own mind and your life and your body. Okay, so if you have been feeling out of control of your mind, oh, I can't help feeling the way I'm feeling. I'm so depressed. I'm so angry. I'm so afraid. I can't help what I'm feeling. I feel so out of control. This is the way to gain back a sense of control over your own mind. Okay. And when you are feeling depressed, when you are experiencing despair, when you are feeling anxious, when you're feeling afraid, you have lost control of your own mind. And this is a way to gain back control over your own mind, which is also the same as over your body and your life. Okay. Now, beautiful. So Stephanie says, of course, the shortcut is to give my mind to the Holy Spirit as soon as I wake up, while I shower, I'm making coffee. Yes, exactly. All right. And also, it's very interesting that if you're experiencing being out of control, and when you are feeling mentally ill, when you're despair, depression, anxiety, guilt, fear, that is a feeling of being out of control over your own mind. And it's saying here that you can gain back a sense of control over your mind by directing your mind to see other people truly, which means lovingly, which means responsibly. You know, when you see them truly, you are gaining back control of your own mind. Now, when you're not seeing people truly, like, why are they doing this to me? They're doing this to me. If they were different, I'd be happy. Well, you may as well have said, I'm out of control of my own mind. If truly your happiness and your wealth and your abundance and your health has anything to do with your own mind, then you're saying you have lost control over your own mind and your own body and your own life. Because you're just saying that they are in control of your mind, your body, and your life. Now, is that what you want to be learning, and is that what you want to be teaching? I don't. When you put it like that, course, well, no, I don't want to be demonstrating and learning and teaching that I have no control over my mind and my body and my life, and everyone and every situation, everything and every relationship has control. It determines how I feel. I don't want to teach that. I'm depressed because I feel like I don't have control over my own mind and body and life. And so the course is telling us how to do what? How to gain control back of your own mind. Wow, that's what we want. All right. Irene says, forgive them for they know not what they do. Exactly. Now, then it says something very interesting that was edited out. It says their lack of vitality, okay? Are you experiencing a lack of vitality? You know, what's a lack of vitality? Well, I don't know. I wake up and I'm depressed, okay? I wake up, I've slept 8 hours, but I'm like walking through molasses. A lack of energy, a lack of inspiration, a lack of personal power. It says their lack of vitality, a lack of personal power, a lack of energy, a lack of inspiration is due to their efforts at solving their needless depression and anxiety through disinterest. Whew. Okay, so what? Okay, it's saying that our lack of vitality is because we're trying to solve, it's due to our efforts at solving our needless depression. Okay, what? You just called my depression needless. Yeah, I know. So you see why they took that out. They just called our depression needless. That's what it's saying. This need not be. It's saying that our depression, which is needless, we have been trying to solve our needless depression. How? Through disinterest. Well, I don't care anyway. I don't care anyway. I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't. I don't care. I don't care. I give up. I don't care. I give up. I'm powerless. I'm weak. I don't care. I give up. Disinterest. Can you relate to that? Trying to solve your depression through disinterest or disengagement. You know, what in psychology we call learned helplessness. I'm totally powerless. I have no control over this, so I give up. I don't even care. I give up. I don't care. It's saying that that's how we have been trying to solve the problem of our depression. I give up. Who cares? Anyway, it doesn't matter anyway. I give up. And it's saying that when you do that, you are losing vitality. That's how you lose life force energy. That's how you lose inspiration. That's how you lose vitality. That's essential life force energy. You know, you feel depressed because you feel like a victim who has no power over your own life and mind and body. And then you don't like the way that feels, and the way you solve that is you just give up. I don't care anyway. It doesn't matter anyway. So that's how we have been trying to solve the problem of our depression, which is needless. And the Course in Miracles says, that need not be, okay? That's not the way to solve the problem of depression, okay? The way to solve depression or despair is not disinterest or what was the other one? Disengagement. Okay, so that's not the way to solve your depression, which Course in Miracles calls needless. Going, well, I don't care. It doesn't matter anyway. It doesn't have anything to do with me. This is happening to me. Okay, good to know. It's not the way to solve your depression or your anxiety. Yeah, you may think, well, I'll just give up. That's the way to handle it. That's the way to solve my problem of depression and anxiety. I'm just going to give up. Well, if you give up and you just give up, it says you are going to lose your essential vitality. You're going to lose your essential life force energy and your inspiration. Now, this need not be. There is another way to solve the problem of your depression and your anxiety besides giving up, besides just giving up your life force energy that you will always maintain, that you always have, but you won't know you have it if you give it up. All right. So, all right. So, and then Carrie says, hi, Anna, could you please explain the difference between disengaged giving up in the way you are discussing it now and the good kind of surrender? That's a great question, Carrie. Thank you. Okay. So, the unhealthy response to depression and anxiety is I give up. It's a helpless, hopeless response. It's a helpless, hopeless, I give up habit of responding to this depression and anxiety. Okay, so it's a way of disengaging. And it says, it says here, because your egos in the past were protected by this unfortunate negative attitude, now you're afraid to abandon it. Okay, so in other words, in the past, my ego was protected by just giving up, disinterested, I don't care anyway, I don't have any power anyway, I don't care, whatever, I give up, okay? That was the way in the past that our egos were protected from hurt. Now, it says, and because it seemed to save our egos in the past, well, I don't care anyway, I give up, it doesn't matter anyway, like, in the past, it seemed to protect our egos from what? From that seeming hurt of abandonment, depression, despair, and anxiety. Because it seemed to protect us in the past, now it's difficult for us to give it up, okay? So the difference between surrender, so the Course in Miracles doesn't use the word surrender as a problem-solving approach. It says things like, I place the future in the hands of God, or Holy Spirit, I give this to you, please be you in charge, decide for me. But the Course in Miracles doesn't say, oh, just surrender. Oh, just surrender. So the ego's version of surrender is, I give up. I give up. I don't care anyway. It doesn't matter anyway. That's the ego's version of surrender. And it's the opposite of saying, Spirit, I place this in your care. I ask you to decide for peace and truth for me in this. Be you in charge. Okay, so that's two very different things. Okay, so it's not like I give up, it doesn't matter anyway. So there's disinterest and there is disengagement. That's what the ego does to protect itself when experiencing depression or anxiety. And then there's the spiritual approach, which of course in Miracles advocates, which is not, I give up, I don't care, it doesn't matter anyway. And it says, Spirit, I ask you, I put this in your hands, be you in charge, decide for peace and truth for me. Two very different approaches. One approach is disengagement. I don't care, it doesn't matter anyway, I don't do it, and the other one is engagement with a loving force, a loving mind, a higher mind that loves you and is ready and willing to engage with you, wants to help you. So do you see the difference? One is disengagement and one is engagement with a higher mind and a higher power and a higher love that's always available. Yes?
It seems like a couple of weeks ago you were talking about Spirit giving us motivation. It sounds like it's what it's talking about here.
Yes.
Is when we get to a place where we feel hopeless, where we don't see any value in whatever in life, then we disengage and we just abandon everything.
Exactly. It's like giving up.
Why even try?
Why even try? Exactly. So depression and anxiety is the same as like, well, why even try? It doesn't matter anyway. You know, I'm on my own anyway. What'd you say?
We need motivation.
Yeah, exactly. So our old habit of problem solving is disengagement and disinterest. I don't care. I don't need you. I don't need this. This doesn't have anything to do with me. You know, that's our way of protecting ourselves that we learned. Right, and what do you think it produced? It produced depression, and it produced anxiety. You know, that is how we learned to protect ourselves in the past. And of course, in Miracles is teaching us a better way to gain back control over our own minds. Okay, in the past, when I felt like I didn't have control over the situation, and I felt helpless, and I felt hopeless. Helpless and hopeless means I don't feel like I have control over my own mind and my life anymore. Now I feel helpless and hopeless, right? Now I feel depressed. Now I feel anxious because I have no control over my own mind and my own body or my own life, okay? What are you going to feel but depressed or anxious when you feel like you have no control over your own mind and body and life? And the Course in Miracles says the best way to handle that depression and that anxiety when you feel no control of your own mind and life is not to just be like, whatever, I give up. Who cares anyway? That will not help. It's not going to make you feel better. It's not going to cure your depression or anxiety. What will is so disengagement is not going to help you. What will help you is engagement with your higher mind and a higher love and a higher power that is always. Did I say always? Did I mention always? Because I meant to say always with you. That's what A Course in Miracles is reminding us. There's a better way to problem solve your depression and your anxiety. It's telling us where that depression and anxiety is coming from. It's coming because you feel like you've lost control of your own mind and body and life. And then you just gave up. You just gave up thinking, well, that will protect me. Okay? I don't care. It doesn't mean anything to me. Who cares? What's the point? That is, what does it say? It says those with a habit of disengagement and disinterest. Those people are now going to be using that problem-solving habit with A Course in Miracles at first, right? So it's saying that, but it's telling us that old problem-solving habit of disengagement and disinterest really has not helped us. Yeah, you think it has protected you, but it's really produced depression and anxiety in your life. And so in contrast to the problem-solving approach that has not worked, that has produced only depression and anxiety, Course in Miracles is like, here's a problem-solving approach that will work, which means it will produce vitality and inspiration, and it will give you a feeling of having control back over your own mind and your own body and your own life. And that's called engagement. Engagement with your higher mind, your higher self, your appointed friend who's always there. So instead of going, who cares? What the point? I give up, blah, blah. Then instead we go, hey, higher mind, spirit, hey, what does this mean? Be you in charge. Help me. Show me this through your eyes. What does this mean? Oh, I put you in charge, Spirit. Be you in charge. Because I'm certain if you're in charge, it's going to be good. Okay, that's called engagement. And that's absolutely 100% opposite of what we've learned to do to protect ourselves. Okay, our means of protecting our minds and gaining back control of our minds has only made us more depressed and anxious and full of despair. Okay, which makes our body sick and our life sick too. Okay, questions or comments? Okay, All right, so Renu says, engage with higher self. Is it the way all is well? Yes. As you do the higher mind engagement, Spirit, I give you this situation. I give you this. I ask you to be in charge, because I'm certain if you're in charge, it's going to be good. Because obviously, the way I've been doing it and perceiving it has not made me happy and has not made me feel safe. Okay, that is the way to gain a sense of control back over your own mind and your own body. And that's what helps us to feel safe. When you know you have control over your own mind and your own body and your life, you're going to feel safe. You're going to be like, well, whatever the ego comes up with, I'm good. Because I have control over my own mind. Because I know that whatever comes up, I have the power of choice. I can choose which voice I want to listen to. And as long as you know you retain the power to choose which voice you want to listen to and follow, then you will always feel in control. You will feel empowered. You will feel inspired. You will feel a sense of vitality in your own life and in your own mind. Okay, so depression and anxiety comes because you do not feel like you have control over your own mind. You feel like a victim of your mind, you feel like a victim of your life, and you feel like a victim of your body. Well, what are you going to feel except depression and anxiety if you feel like you're totally at the mercy of the world and every situation? What are you going to feel but anxiety and depression? And so, of course, in Miracles is about reminding you that you do have control over your own mind. You always have control over which voice you want to listen to. And depending on which voice you choose to listen to, that is how your experience goes. And when you know that you will always retain that power to choose, you'll always know that you retain the power over your own mind, control over your own mind. Okay. And Renu says, help me, show me this from your eyes. Beautiful, beautiful. Hi, Ashley, and hi, Tim. All right. It's so interesting. I can totally relate to that. Depression and anxiety and despair and guilt and all of that. All of that is a feeling of, I've lost control over my own mind. Now my mind tells me what to feel. My mind and my world tells me what to feel. And now I'm scared. I'm anxious. Okay? Because I don't feel like I have control over my own mind. And A Course in Miracles is reminding you that you always maintain the position of power over your own mind. Because nothing, nowhere, no how, ever can take from you the power to decide which voice you want to listen to. And at any moment that you say you want to listen to the voice for love and you say, Spirit, be you in charge. Love, you decide for me what this means, what to think and what to do. Be you in charge, Spirit, because I know if you're in charge, it's going to be okay. Nothing can take from you the power of choice and the power of decision about which voice to listen to. And because that is true, that is the awareness and the truth that will return to you the experience of control over your own mind, which means over your own body and your own life. Awesome. Whew, I gotta take a drink on that one. Drink of water. Okay, now, and it says, because in the past it seemed like your ego was protected by that disinterest, I don't care, or helplessness or whatever, now it's hard to give up that defense mechanism. Yes, it takes a while, because in the past it seemed like it protected our egos. Yeah, and it did protect our egos, and now we're afraid to abandon that old way of protecting ourselves. But when you exert real efforts to give up this voluntary dispiriting, then you will see how your mind can focus and rise above fatigue and heal Wow. Great. Are you fatigued? Do you experience fatigue? Do you feel like I do not have enough energy to do what I need to do and get through my day? Course in Miracles says you feel fatigued because of your voluntary dispiriting. We are voluntarily dispiriting ourselves. We are voluntarily giving up the vitality of our minds and our bodies and our lives by going, I give up. I give up. I can't. I don't care. I don't care. I give up. That's you voluntarily giving up vitality and energy. And it says you will realize that you can give up this voluntary dispiriting. And when you give up this voluntary dispiriting, then you will realize that now your mind can focus. Oh, hey, I have control over my mind because I can decide which voice I want to listen to. I can decide which voice I give charge of this experience. When you realize that and you give up that voluntary dispiriting, thinking you're helpless and hopeless and a victim, then your mind will pop. It will focus. And when your mind focuses, when your mind is focused, you know what happens. You experience the opposite of fatigue. When your mind is focused, your mind rises above fatigue. And what happens when your mind rises above fatigue is your mind heals. Interesting that my mind isn't healing because my mind is fatigued. I am fatigued. I'm tired, body, mind, and spirit. Well, how good are you going to be able to heal when your mind is fatigued and your body is fatigued? Of course, a miracle says you're fatigued because you're depressed. That's why you're fatigued. It's not that you're experiencing a physical fatigue. The physical fatigue comes from the mental fatigue. And mental fatigue comes from you're depressed. You're anxious. Depression and anxiety takes up way too much mental energy. Depression and anxiety takes up a ton of mental energy. And when you have no more depression and anxiety, you got a lot of energy that you can use to heal your mind and your body and your life. So we want to free up the energy that we have in our minds that we could put to the truth, that we could put to healing that results in vitality. Okay, so it is saying that you can give up this voluntary dispiriting called depression, called anxiety. So let's just say this. Depression and anxiety is a voluntary dispiriting. It's you voluntarily saying, I don't care, it doesn't matter anyway, I don't have any power anyway, I don't have any power, I don't have any control of my own mind or life anyway, so I give up. Okay. You can give up this voluntary dispiriting. By how? By remembering, by learning for A Course in Miracles how to gain control back of your own mind. And when you gain control back of your own mind, then you will rise above fatigue. You'll have vitality again. And your mind will be able to heal. And your mind will be able to heal your body then. And then you'll be able to heal your life and your relationships. Okay. But, okay, oh, I know there's a but. There's always a but. But your minds are not sufficiently vigilant against your ego's demands to disengage themselves yet. Okay, great. So you can give up this voluntary dispiriting, but most of us are not sufficiently vigilant against our ego's demands to disengage ourselves yet from the ego's demands. Okay, right. What is the ego doing? Demand. Ego is doing what? The ego demands. I demand you do this. I demand you do it in this amount of time. I demand you do it like this. I demand this. I demand you do it like that, in this kind of timing, in this way. It is difficult, and we haven't disengaged ourselves yet sufficiently from our ego's demands. To do what? To rise above our fatigue, to rise above our depression and anxiety, and heal our minds. But that don't need to be, okay? So it doesn't have to be like that, okay? It doesn't have to be like that? Well, what do you mean? It means you could disengage your minds from your ego's demands. I could disengage my mind from my ego's demands. And I could do it sufficiently enough that my mind regains its own energy, rises above the fatigue that I feel trying to meet my ego's demands, and allow my mind to have energy again. Now my mind has energy. Now my mind has inspiration. And now that my mind has inspiration, now my body has energy. So it doesn't have to be that way, that you are depressed and anxious and fatigued and exhausted from all the demands that you are trying to meet, that your ego is making. It doesn't have to be that way. Well, good to know. Okay, thank you, Course in Miracles, for reminding me. And by telling me what I can do differently if I'm exhausted and I'm tired of being exhausted. Okay? I'm tired of being exhausted, and I'm tired of being depressed, and I'm tired of being anxious. I would really like to free up all that mental, physical energy that I'm putting toward that. And I'd like to free it up so that my mind can be inspired again. So instead of being tired, too tired to do anything, too tired to do anything new or different, now I'm like, woo, what can I do different? Ooh, I'd love a new way of looking at this. I'd like a new way of thinking about this. Ooh, I could do that. Oh, my life could be like this. Awesome. How exciting. Let's explore. Okay. It could be like that. Okay. And this section is teaching us how to do that. Awesome. Bridget says, I am trusting God. Yes. And Irene says, voluntaring, dispiriting. I can give it up. Yes, you can. And Bridget says, I am not the victim of the world I see. Exactly. All right. Beautiful. All right, I'm gonna take a breath. Now we are going to paragraph 10. So now it goes back. Okay, the one paragraph we just did, paragraph 9, that whole paragraph was edited out. Now, I gotta ask you, can you see why? Can you see why that paragraph was edited out? I can. Absolutely. I can see that it was edited out, number one, because it's a little difficult to understand. And number two, that it is incredibly empowering. It's incredibly empowering. That just gave us the answer to depression, anxiety, fatigue, and that feeling of being a helpless, hopeless victim to whatever we're experiencing in the world. Wow. Great. Okay, yeah, I can see why my ego is absolutely not interested in that. Okay. My ego wanted to tell me I didn't understand it or couldn't understand that paragraph when I looked at it earlier, even though I've read it many times before. My ego's like, you don't know what that means. You can't understand that. Just skip that paragraph. Okay, it's the same thing, same reason why it was probably left out of the first two editions. Now, here we go. Now we're on paragraph 10. It says, so we're talking about disengagement and disinterest as the way we've been trying to solve our problems. It says, the new habit of engaging with God and God's creations is easily made if you actively refuse to let your mind slip away. All right? Okay, you're saying that, okay, instead of disengagement and disinterested and helplessness and hopelessness and denial that I've been using as a defense mechanism to protect my ego, as a problem-solving mechanism in the past, There's a better one called engagement. Okay? What kind of engagement? Engaging with God and engaging with God's creations. Okay? So instead of disengaging, I don't care, it doesn't matter, it doesn't mean anything, blah, 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 or denial, you could engage with love. Engage with infinite mind, infinite loving mind, and the creations of infinite loving mind. You could engage, you could create a new habit. So instead of going, well, I don't care, or that has nothing to do with me, it doesn't matter anyway, I have no power anyway, you could be like, I'm going to create a new habit. I'm going to create a new problem-solving habit called, hey, God, what does this mean? Hey, Spirit, what should I do? What does this mean? I'd like to hear your perception. I'd like to see this through your eyes. I would like you to be in charge. I would like you to decide for love and peace and safety and security for me. That's engagement. That's engaging with God and God's loving creations. That's a better habit. That's the best problem-solving habit you could develop. You want a good problem-solving approach that really does actually work and doesn't produce depression and anxiety? That's it. The habit of engaging with infinite loving mind and infinite loving mind's creations when you are afraid, when you feel scared. Okay? So instead of doing it like you used to do in the past, like, I don't care, I'm not doing anything to me. Actively engaging with a higher, loving, infinite mind. Now that is a habit that you can create. That's you actively refusing to let your mind slip away. Don't give up your control. Don't give up the control over your own mind as a response to fear. Okay? What we used to do in the past when we experienced fear or a threat or upset, what did we do? We just gave up and just took the victim, helpless, hopeless position with anger, thinking, well, that will take care of it. That will protect me. No, it didn't. It just produced more depression and anxiety. Here is a way of solving your problems by, instead of disengaging and giving up, we're going, I'm going to actively refuse to let my mind slip away, and I'm going to actively engage with a higher mind. And that's what I'm going to do. And it says that your problem is not concentration. So it's not like, well, I can't concentrate on the higher mind. I can't concentrate on the higher truth. I'm trying to not let my mind slip away. I'm trying to not let but I can't concentrate. That's not your problem, the Course in Miracles says. It says your problem is that is a belief. Your problem is a belief that nobody, including yourself, deserves or is worth consistent effort. So, of what? So it's not that you have a problem concentrating on higher mind or higher truth. That's not your problem. Your problem is that you don't believe you are worth consistent effort. Okay? You don't believe that you deserve consistent effort to what? To not let your mind slip away. There's a belief you have that you don't deserve consistent effort. What is the opposite of I believe I deserve consistent effort? It's I give up. It doesn't matter anyway. I'm just going to disengage. Who cares? That's the opposite of consistent effort. I don't deserve, it doesn't matter anyway. Who cares? I can't do anything anyway. I'm just a victim anyway. So I'm just going to give up and be the victim and be angry. Okay? That's you not believing that you deserve the consistent effort of engaging with higher mind and asking higher mind to help you change your mind. So you can either give up the control of your mind and be the helpless, hopeless victim that's entitled to its anger. Okay, you can give up like that. and the result being depression and anxiety. Or you can actively engage your mind with the higher mind and say, higher mind, please help me to change my mind. Please help me to understand the true power that I retain, that I have in this situation, to create what I want to experience instead of giving up. So the difference here is not, oh, well, this person has the ability to concentrate on the higher mind, the higher truths, and this person doesn't. That's not it at all. The only reason why you wouldn't have that energy and that vitality to concentrate on not letting your mind slip away to the ego is that you don't believe you deserve it. That's the only difference between somebody who can focus their mind and concentration on a higher truth and someone who says they can't, and they just give up to the ego, and they just give up, okay, and just play the victim. They don't work on trying to retain the control of their own mind. They just give up. Okay, a victim is someone who gives up. It's like, well, I don't have control over my own mind or life anyway. My life and my mind and my experience is totally determined by them, and so I'm screwed. So I give up. I don't care anymore. I don't care. Whatever. Okay, that is someone who's going to be experiencing depression and anxiety. And it doesn't have to be that way. That's not the only response that you can have toward problems, toward challenges. The other one is to remember that you can regain control over your own mind, and you can engage your mind sufficiently with a higher mind, a higher truth, and a higher power that will do what? That will help you to change your mind. The only distinction here is, do you believe you deserve it? Do you believe you're worthy of it? If you don't believe you're worthy of that kind of love, then you'll say, I don't have the power. I'm just a victim. I give up. And the best I can do is be angry and have a good justification for my anger. The other, when you say, I deserve, I'm worthy of that kind of concentration, I'm worthy of that kind of effort, that is the one who reclaims the power and the control of their own mind and their life and their body. And that's the only difference here. Okay? That's the only difference. It's not a problem of discipline. You don't have a problem of a discipline. Your problem is not that you don't have a disciplined enough mind to focus on the truth instead of the ego's past beliefs and learning and teaching. The only problem is that you don't believe you deserve or you're worth that consistent effort. If you believed that you were worthy of consistent effort, then you would have the energy to put out for consistent effort toward the vitality and the peace and the health of your own mind and your own body and your own life. Wow. So have you ever been a person who's like, well, I just don't have the discipline. If only I had the discipline. If only I had powers of concentration. If only I had more discipline, then I could accomplish X, Y, and Z. Have you ever said that? I have. Oh, I wish I had more discipline. I wish I had more discipline. I wish I had more discipline for my diet. I wish I had more discipline for the things I want to accomplish. I wish I had more discipline for my exercise routine. I wish I had more discipline for eating healthier or for whatever. If you have ever said that, if only I had more self-discipline, I could accomplish my goals. Course in Miracles says self-discipline is not your problem. That is not what's standing between you and the accomplishment of what you say you want to accomplish. What's standing between you is not self-discipline, what's standing between you is a belief that you are not worth consistent effort. And if you believed that you were worth consistent effort, you would have all the discipline that you needed to accomplish whatever it was you wanted to accomplish. So instead of trying to make yourself more disciplined, then stop doing that. That didn't work anyway, you may have noticed. Instead of trying to make yourself and force yourself to be more disciplined, you need to ask yourself, do I believe that I am worth consistent effort? And that's the question to ask yourself. And if you don't, and if you're like, no, I don't believe, obviously, that I'm worth consistent effort, that's when you need to engage your mind with higher mind, higher truth, higher love, and go, higher mind, higher love, I don't believe that I'm worth consistent effort. Wow, that is my call for love. Please correct that call for love. Please correct my mistaken belief that I am not worth consistent effort. Please correct that mistaken belief that I obviously have because I'm undisciplined. That is the way to correct that belief that you are not worth consistent effort. Okay, it's not to push through, I'm going to make myself be disciplined, I'm going to join a group and that'll help me to be disciplined, I'm going to get a coach who's going to help me be accountable, help me be more self-disciplined. Self-discipline doesn't come from forcing it. Self-discipline comes from the belief that you are worth consistent effort. Okay, so that is the question to ask yourself. And if you find that you do not believe that you are worth consistent effort, that is the time to engage. Not disengage and give up, but engage with your higher mind, the higher love, the higher truth. All right. Now, it says that what you could do, it says if you find that you don't believe that you're worth the consistent effort that results in discipline, then what you could do is you could side with higher mind. You could side with your higher self consistently against this deception. So it gives you an instruction. It says, side with me, says our teacher. Side with me consistently against this deception that you're not worth consistent effort. I can do that. I mean, that's a thing. I can notice that I don't have self-discipline and go, instead of like trying to muscle my way through it, I could go, wow, I don't believe I'm worth consistent effort. Okay, now what? Then I could say, higher mind, I am going to side with you consistently against the deception, the lie that I am not worth consistent effort. Okay, that's a thing. Okay, that's a much better approach to accomplishing your goals than just trying to make yourself more self-disciplined, which we all know doesn't work anyway. Perfect topic for the beginning of the new year. We're always making New Year's resolutions. I love it. Irene says, my call for love of my something mistent belief. I don't believe I deserve consistent effort. I am worth consistent effort. Yes, you are, Irene. My problems are a belief. That's exactly right, Irene. My problems are not that I don't have enough self-discipline. If only I was more disciplined with the Course in Miracles. If only I was more disciplined with my healthy diet. If only I was more disciplined with working out. That's not your problem. Your problem is you don't believe you are worth consistent effort. And that's the problem that needs correction. And if you would like that misperception, that false belief to be corrected, it comes from siding with your higher self that does believe. It comes from siding with something that loves you, that does believe that you're worth consistent effort. That's how that happens. And then, exactly, I love it. Kwana says consistent effort is an investment in yourself. Exactly. No, so here it's saying that your relationship and your engagement with your higher self, your engagement with a higher love and a higher power and a higher truth, your engagement with that is how you come to the self-discipline and the consistency of effort toward the good for yourself, whatever that is. It doesn't come from muscling through it and judging yourself and beating yourself up for not being disciplined. If that was going to work, it would have worked already. It comes from engaging and speaking to and communicating with and asking for help from your higher self and your guides and your teachers who are all here to help you, who do see your good, who do see you as worth consistent effort, way more than you do. Okay, so engage. So the problem is I disengage, I give up, and the answer is I re-engage with the minds and the beings and the teachers and the helpers and the friends who do see me as worth consistent effort. They do see that giving me consistent help and helping me consistently is worth their time and their energy. Okay, and we are surrounded by them. You are surrounded by them. And so the answer is not disengagement or disinterest. The answer is engagement with them who do see you correctly. And they're all there just waiting for you. So, beautiful. Okay, now, and I love it, Bridget says, I am worth consistent effort. Yes, you are. All right. Now, oh my goodness, it's 8:22. Well, maybe I should stop here for tonight or today and then start back on paragraph 11 next week. Okay. Wow, that went so fast. I can't even believe it. Okay. So we are going to stop here for today just because we have 8 minutes till we're supposed to stop. So, although I'm just getting warmed up. That's how it is for me with A Course in Miracles. By the time it's time to stop class, I'm just getting warmed up, you know. I'm just like you. It takes, my ego's massively defended against the truth, and it takes a while for my ego's defense to melt away so I can really actually hear it. But that's all right. So we will pick up on paragraph 11 next Wednesday, and we'll just go from there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do announcements, and then we're going to do our integration meditation, which we do for about 5 minutes or so at the end of a session, where we take the ideas and we use them with visualization and meditation. All right. Thank you, Bridget. Thank you, Renew. I'm so happy to have you all joining our healing circle. I really appreciate your consistent effort, your consistent investment of time and energy into this co-creation that we co-create whenever we come together to hear these ideas together. I really appreciate you seeing this as worthy of consistent effort. And also, this is you seeing yourself as worthy of consistent effort. You giving your time and your energy to hear these loving ideas about yourself is you siding with your higher mind in the belief that you are worthy of consistent effort. You are. You are a teacher of love. You are a teacher of truth. Who is worth more consistent effort than you, right? Despite any of your so-called failings or faults or calls for love or any of that, your purpose to be helpful, your purpose to be a light, to be the light of the world, your purpose to be helpful, makes you 100% worthy of consistent effort despite whatever your ego's flaws are. And we've all got them, okay? We all have the same ego. We all have the same ego flaws. It doesn't matter. Our purpose and our desire to be of service and to be helpful absolutely 100% makes us worthy of consistent effort. Just that you are a child of God makes you worthy of consistent effort. And so every time we join in this way to hear these ideas together is us signifying that we believe we are worth consistent effort. So, all right, so now announcements, and then I love it. Yitzi says, active engagement with the higher mind is a key to self-worth and discipline. Exactly. Couldn't said it better myself, Yitzi. All right, so announcements are this. I do 2 live streams every week, Mondays and Wednesdays, 7 to 8:30 p.m. On Mondays, it's at the Rocky Mountain Miracle Center, so if you're in the Denver area, you can come join us there. On Wednesdays, it's a live stream that's done on Facebook. But I am trying to get to the point where I can do live streams from YouTube, but I need 1,000 subscribers. So I'm close to that goal. Please help me. Go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. I've got hundreds of Course in Miracles classes, Course in Miracles meditations, Course in Miracles readings that you can use to keep you awake, that you can use to help you engage with your higher mind which knows you're worthy of consistent effort. So go to my YouTube channel and subscribe so that I can do YouTube Live, which is just more accessible for more people. Also, if you feel like you would like to share this message with more in the world, then post this class to your Facebook live feed. So go ahead and post it to your Facebook if you would like to share it with more, and I appreciate you for doing that. I mean, what more does this world need than this, okay? This is what this world needs more than anything, and you are a channel for this in the world. That's why you're here. Your body is to be a communication device for sharing these loving, inspiring, healing ideas so that everyone can be released from limitations and guilt and fear. Okay, beautiful. I appreciate you so much for investing your time and energy in this healing circle, that you might be healed and the world might be healed through you and us. So, all right, beautiful. Now we're going to do the integration meditation. So I want you to now close your eyes and take a breath and breathe. How do you feel having heard these ideas? Just allow the ideas that you have heard to settle. And just feel what the ideas feel like in your mind, your body, and your spirit. And I want you to bring to your awareness a situation or a relationship that you have been experiencing depression or anxiety in. And take a breath. Beautiful. And I want you to look into these situations or relationships where you've been experiencing depression or anxiety. And I want you to see how you've been trying to protect yourself with disengagement and disinterest, I don't need this, I don't need you, and don't matter anyway, and I give up. See where you've been trying to handle your fear or your feeling of powerlessness with disengagement or disinterest. I give up. Who cares anyway? This don't matter anyway. What you think doesn't matter. I don't care what you think. I want you to take a breath. That's your old problem-solving approach. And maybe you're still even using that old problem-solving approach with the Course in Miracles ideas. And I want you to tell yourself, this need not be. This is not the only way. This is not the only response to this feeling of helplessness and hopelessness and powerlessness. I would like to regain control over my own mind, my own life and body. And so instead of giving up or, I don't care, disinterest, let's go ahead and re-engage with our higher mind, higher love, a higher truth, higher self. And say, higher mind, higher self, higher love. I ask you to be in charge. Be you in charge. Because I'd like to follow you. I know that if I follow you, that the outcome is going to be peace and empowerment. I'm going to remember the real power of my mind. And I want you to notice that in the places where you've felt depressed or anxious or despair, that it's where you forgot that your mind still has power to choose, and that you still have the power to choose which belief you side with, which mind you side with. And I want you to remember you still have the power. I still retain control over my mind, and I decide to put higher love, higher mind in charge of how I see this, how I interpret this, how I respond to this, and what I should do in this. I still have power. I still have control over my mind and my life, and I use my power to choose to ask higher mind to be in charge. And I ask higher mind to decide for me what it means and what to do. And take a breath. And in this area of your life where you've been experiencing depression, anxiety, despair, guilt, I want you to say to yourself, I give up my own voluntary dispiriting. I voluntarily give up this voluntary depression, this dispiriting. I have the power to decide. I have the power to choose which voice I listen to. And then notice how this giving up of this voluntary dispiriting, this voluntary helplessness, notice as you give it up, your mind rises above this fatigue, this depression, this despair. And the power and the energy and the vitality of your own mind returns to you and then floods your body. This is the vitality of mind and body that heals, that empowers your mind and heals your body and gives you energy to accomplish what you want to accomplish. And then I want you to think about what it is that you would like to achieve and accomplish in your life, in your world. And I want you to tell yourself, this is not a matter of me being self-disciplined. Me accomplishing this that I want to accomplish and achieve is all about me believing that I'm worth and that my purpose is worth consistent effort. And so I say and I declare that my purpose and who I am is worth consistent effort. And I side with my higher mind and my higher self in this declaration, this truth. Spirit, I know that you see me and my purpose as worthy of consistent effort, and I side with you. I say yes to your perception of me. And so I say, please decide for me. Please decide everything for me, since you do see me and my purpose as worthy of consistent effort. So you decide for me what I think and what I do, and how I react and respond to my challenges. Be you in charge. Decide for peace and love and truth for me. Decide for my consistent worth for me. And thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for seeing me as worthy of consistent effort, even when I do not. Beautiful. All right. And then take a breath and open your eyes and bring your awareness back to your body, back to the space. I am so happy to see you guys. So happy to be joining with you in this healing circle. I appreciate you more than I can say. And thank you for joining this. Share this if you feel so motivated to do so. Go to my YouTube channel and hit subscribe. And I appreciate you, and I will see you next time I see you. May the Course be with you.